opposed, well, that is what it is. I'll call the meeting to order. And let's see, I guess we're supposed to adopt the agenda. You guys get it? Look at the agenda.
All good?
Yep, okay. All in favor of the agenda? Okay, yeah. And the minutes from last meeting in January were submitted or received. There is just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
So I don't. Do we have to adopt the or not? I don't think somebody's correct now. Okay, so the variance permit application for Creston's is what we have to deal with today. All of us except Dave went for the site visit, had a look, see what there is. And Dave, you're familiar with the place over there?
Did I look at it?
Yeah, or you're at least familiar with it as to what it is and how it is, okay. So anyway, we had a look and basically we saw what the old house used to be and where the septic area is and stuff like that. And there's trees around, there's established trees from wherever the house used to be. Sounds like the house that was there, I don't know when it came down, but anyway, it's been there for many years established. So it's established yard and driveway. So even though we have bylaw that says keep it, you're 60 meters from the road, I think in this case it's better if we go with the footprint that's already there as opposed to taking the good farmland between the site and the road. That would be more of a loss, I think. Anybody else want to speak to it or go on?
Do we have any more information regarding what they plan to build? How big? Or we're just dealing with the setback at this point? I'm just curious about how big of a footprint are they gonna put there? I mean, it could be a 7,000 square foot house.
No, they're only about 5,000.
We're limited on that too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll see it feedback for another meeting.
No, I was thinking too, like say, if we support this variance, I think you guys should have at least a comment in there from us that, if these people weren't aware of this ahead of time, hopefully they are aware of the house or the residential footprint and size of house and so on that can go there too as well before they start.
Is further on that, is the driveway length going to, maybe I'm speaking outside my mouth here, but driveway is part of the footprint, am I wrong? Being that we have such a large driveway, is that going to
That does.
put their footprint up and over what's technically
That
allowed?
does.
So are we total footprint here? What?
No, I think that driveway's a shared driveway.
It is. It would be, probably from,
Looking at their map and
depending on where the property line is, what side of that driveway, right? Is with the Woloka house, I mean, he uses that driveway, but is that his driveway or is it shared?
looking at their map here, I'd say it's on both of them.
Property line should be set in the middle, perhaps.
It's at an angle. It looks good.
I myself think we need a little bit more info here than what we've got.
And the way they draw the line here, yeah, it could be whatever. But yeah, if that, driveway part, counts as part of the footprint, even if it's just half of it, that's something that would be, somebody has to be aware of too.
Another, provide more information if they're tuned in.
Do we have any way of asking?
I can see if
I'm guessing unanimous is the typical one we deal with. I'd like to have their time to be able to do this.
There, you don't have it.
Or at least make it noted that,
Of course.
that should be addressed, and needs to be aware of, ahead of going forward.
But could we not just say that, like, as far as the footprint goes, that if it's not any bigger than what's there, like the initial site, the existing driveway, if that.
The setback is acceptable.
Yeah, if it's any bigger than that, then agree with it,
Or we would have to look at it.
Do we
Yeah.
really know how big that house was though? It's
well,
pretty
I
tiny.
can still see what's dug up.
That looks like about 600 square foot.
Yeah, but there's other, I mean,
But does it-
between the garage and the other gravel spot, we've got other worker shack, a lot of stuff that's still basically part of the site, which should be quite easily within the limitations. I would think, but if it's any bigger than that, then, or if it's any different.
So, 17, page 17, they have kind of a layout, yard site, for the house is gonna go. You're not saying how big the house is.
The only way to make it big is to build up.
I think mainly for this variance application is mainly just to get away from the 60 meter from the lot line part.
Yeah, I guess that's really all that's asked.
Yeah, so like you say, I think for that part, I think the rest of it makes sense to go with it, or allow it, shall we say, because
Yeah.
the footprint that's already there might as
Yeah,
well be
that's true.
utilized.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think that's all we can address.
But I think Clear Lake, we have a hard time now saying no to these setbacks after that one was approved on 27th Avenue, so. That. They built a house in the middle of the most expensive land in the valley,
Wow.
and we allowed the footprint for the house to be built more than 60 meters from the property, so it's hard to say no to anything else.
But did we said to give us blessings to that, did we?
Well, it went through.
No, they did, but did we?
We didn't agree to that, but
No.
it's supposed to be different than that, but.
Yeah.
But this is an existing, so it's.
And then the other one on 27th was a house fire. And they got a variance without even coming before us. And theirs was more than 60 meters from the front of their property as well.
Well, whatever's if it's existing, then I don't have a problem with it. If it's a new.
Yeah.
Then I think the regulation applies, but if there's existing buildings or an existing foundation that's there, I mean.
It's done that they got more here.
Yeah.
Let's say, I think it's pretty obvious, what cement is there, the foundation that's there, they won't be able to use what's there. That won't happen, but at least the footprint, if it's there, is better than using up the good dirt up by the road. So that's basically all we do.
Yeah.
Well, they're actually farming
Yeah,
the back or the side, so
Yeah,
you're not changing it.
house is in the middle, but
so I think basically all we can do is say vote on that as it shows. And then I think basically we could put in comments as to our other concerns or whatever, right?
I think it just needs to be fairly clearly stated that it is supporting how would you say,
The location, the site.
Yeah.
And the setback, but that is all. Like, we're not saying anything more than that, regarding the maximum footprint here. Yeah, that also brings up, we did mention, how is it that a case like his neighbor that lost their house, which is virtually similar to what we're going now with the setback, doesn't even come to us. But yet this one is. Why is there so much discrepancy in rules? Where one guy on one road gets it, but the guy on another road doesn't. I don't quite understand that. If the rules are the rules, then we should be seeing them all.
Yeah, no, it's true. I was thinking, like, say, maybe an idea is just because it was a fire thing and then they can put it back on the existing.
I guess if they were actually got approval from inspection, then the foundation was okay. But that's usually very hard to do, especially if the fire was hot to an extent. The concrete loses its strength, and usually that's a no.
So maybe that would be the reasoning there. I don't know.
I would be curious to find that out, because kind of we're seeing sometimes we're spinning our wheels.
Is that what, is that one already built on?
Yes, it was there's good self. Or
Thank you. You get the buzz out of here.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Almost half of it just.
I wasn't, but I'd already.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
Okay. So shall we, vote on the variance as it's presented to us then?
Yes.
So do we, all in favor of supporting this variance? All in favor?
So if you wanna just hold on 2 shakes, Zach is calling into the meeting,
Oh,
so he'll be able to address
all
more
right.
Oh, I'll
Questions?
retract that.
Yes.
questions.
They're gonna come along and slap me.
For like this. Can we take the meeting in camera so that anonymous can listen?
Probably not.
Can we?
Good morning.
Zach, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Little.
Volume's just going up. Try again.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
To change his name to Zach Galvin.
Zach, there was a few questions have come up. Of course, the setback is, seems like the application is strictly about the setback of the house. But, questions are around what other, questions about the size of the house they plan to build. Are they aware of the, maximum square meters? And the driveway, I think are they planning to maintain the shared driveway, or are they planning on applying for driveway as well?
Yeah, and then also with that driveway, if that counts as part of the residential footprint, how is that gonna affect us too?
Whose property is the driveway on?
Like say, and that driveway, is it half and half on that side and on south side, Walker side, or whatever, however you wanna call it?
It appears to be right on the shared property line, but
Give me a second just to pull up the site plan on my computer here. I'm pretty sure that that was accounted for, and the only thing that they needed was the depth of the farm residential footprint. But I'll see if they provided a concept at least of the house that's planned to be built.
Looking at with the way that fence is, I would think that possibly the whole driveway is on their own property. Or from. Who's living in that house, Dave?
I think Avalaka's,
Yeah,
I think Frank.
Frank's living in it.
no, his in-laws.
It's his in-laws live in that house for by the
It's his
restaurant.
Oh, his mom's sister, his wife's sister.
My sister, that's not right.
So it would make sense that maybe the driveway was originally for that, or for both houses, but
I think the driveway might all be on the lot, I'm not sure.
look where that fence runs and it's pretty much most of the driveways on
Yeah.
the other properties, but I'm.
It's been there since.
Easier to purpose our long people to.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's a driveway.
But neighbors would be consistent.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Because it was all family land going back.
Well, East Farmingville, so they've got.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure they have some.
You can tell us if there's easements or not on there as well. Is it going beyond what we're looking at?
So there are no details in terms of the house that's being proposed. Based on what they've submitted and everything in the package, they would comply with the maximum size of the house. There's nothing to indicate otherwise that they're seeking a variance for that. I've had a discussion with Rod and he seemed very informed on the requirements and everything. So I wouldn't doubt that I wouldn't think that was overlooked by him. Was there another question that you had about the driveway specifically?
Is that all on their property? Is it a shared driveway? Is that going to be included in the overall footprint?
So the driveway would always be included as part of the farm residential footprint. In terms of if it's entirely on their driveway, I think it kind of straddled the property line between the farm to the south. But I'm going to pull up the map here just to take a look at it quickly.
Yeah. So it's right on the line.
I'd hate them to apply for a building permit and then we're all coming back here again.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to be thorough and just make sure we're covering all of it now, so that we don't have to look at any of this again, obviously. Yeah, the lot lines in our mapping are not always they're not always like to survey grade, but it definitely looks like the driveway straddles both properties. The lot lines are at a bit of an angle and the driveway kind of starts, it appears entirely on the subject property and then just past the house that's south of here, it kind of goes onto the neighbor's property. So it does kind of straddle both lot lines, but that would be included in the footprint area, the 2,500 square meters that's allowed.
Whose responsibility is it to verify that? Is that something inspection does? Is that something you guys do in the building permit process?
That's something we would do through the preliminary zoning review. So I'm just looking I'm pretty sure I did a sketch of this property to ensure that they would be within that 2,500 square meters before I sent out the referral package. I'm just looking for that sketch to confirm.
Line there. Go right through the buildings. Sides. Well, that's what it was kind of. Just that.
Yeah, I would think it's probably pretty important to know where that actual lot line is.
Well, didn't know that.
For that reason, because they're saying,
But those could be off.
You know,
Leave that whether you just
Create
put those.
those.
yeah, you don't know, right? And yet, I'm not sure if they buy the place, you can go by what's there, or does the guy have to?
If you're wise, part of the
Yeah,
house.
but then it's all. Is there
Yes.
a reason?
They're pretty much right at the 2,500 square meter maximum when we include the driveway as well in that calculation.
Has it been surveyed recently? Or does that come up on your search if there's a fresh survey?
I'll double check. I don't think there was a recent survey done. No, survey is from 1977 that we have on file.
So with it almost being at size, what does that determine for the rest of it?
I took a pretty liberal measurement. Unfortunately, I'm unable to share my screen because that's kind of like in the remote kind of Citrix system that I'm working in, and then I'm logging in with my laptop outside of that right now, so I can't share my screen with you. But yeah, like I included not just where there's a clear disturbance from the former house location, but also the entire kind of treat area around the house site. So it's a pretty safe measurement to get to that 2,500 square meters. I think they have a lot of room to work with. That wouldn't be impacting any of the arable lands that they have currently on the property.
All right, I think that helps. That's probably all we can, deal with or at least be aware of, so.
What about the yard footprint on the north line? Shows that line going right to the property. Two buildings and everything. What's the deal there?
On the north?
Oh, on the north side.
Yeah,
Page
on page 15 is what I'm on, but it shows that the boundary line is right over top of the building. And there's yard and stuff on this side of it. What's that about?
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't notice that earlier.
I think this is only as good as he held his mouth on the spot.
I think so. I think that's just gotta be a general.
That's a pretty general property line.
Yeah, I think so.
Although this is Creston.
You never know.
I think they're all
We had
just-
lines go through houses before.
That's kind of suspicious.
I don't know.
I think they were just
Sorry.
trying to say, but I think there's some trailers.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
Yeah,
Because
makes sense.
I'm over.
It's probably
I can see. Tail line there.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
Who knows, things get confused.
Like we say, we could see more than one house through the lot line through it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we went and looked at one.
so maybe there are stakes there, so. maybe
Yeah,
that's
it's
why
probably
that's
not
research.
an issue for you guys to be concerned about, that you still find end up
Yeah, you
being
can see where they are.
a property or between the two owners, whatever.
Lot line adjustment or something. Then you're gonna have to come back to it. Okay, I don't know, I'd say maybe that's beyond what we can deal with, at least if people are aware of it, that's the main thing, I guess. Yeah, before it gets further down the way. So,
Any other questions for that?
yes. Anything else, Dave, you're good?
I'm good, yeah.
All right, so in that case, we'll vote on it as the
Thank you.
variance states.
Thanks for your time, Zach.
Exactly.
Friday, I close.
Okay.
We're gonna go again.
Vote again. All in favor? Okay, we're still gonna
We
be,
hit that.
You took it back.
all right.
Still the same. Boring fun.
So that should
We still want to
be
watch this.
the end of our meeting.
Call
And
for public comment.
public time, is there public that wants to talk?
After our, also like,
Unanimous. Do you want to say something?
after our decision.
Oh. No, wrong word.
Nothing comes up. Call the adjournment then.
Yeah, we're at cookies.
Oh, good, okay, good enough.
Hit that off. Come on.
You're doing some nasty thing.